of the year, right? So excited.
Yes, definitely.
I know. So right before we got on here, Rena was teasing me about my lighting. So technically, all this light is because of Rena, just so y'all know. If you're joining us today, we're talking about goals and setting them. And Rena and I are both super passionate about this. So we're just going to have a conversation, and you can join in if you like. We will try to keep an eye on the comments and include you wherever we can. If you don't know me, I'm Pip, Seymour Digital Media, and that's
Rena from Rena Rena from Little Works Indie Media, which hopefully you read faster than I could actually say.
and together we come together because we're both marketing experts. And no, we do not have the same company. We just believe in collaboration, and that's why we're here today, right?
That's right.
So, Rena, you're pretty passionate about goals, huh?
Totally. And not the kind of goals that you just kind of airy fair put on a piece of paper and hope for the best. That's not going to work. It's got to be done in a very particular way. Because, people say, and there are all these memes out there too, don't set goals, don't set goals. And it's, but really, if you want to know where you're going, you actually have to have a goal. But the point is getting from point A to point B. You need a plan in addition to goals, and you need a plan that's actually going to be manageable, and and um, and that you can implement on a daily basis. Like if you're not working on your goals every single day, then you're not going to get there in the end. You can't just periodically check your goals. You need to actually what's the word, be really intentional with what you're doing and really focus on it every single day. So that's number one. That's number one. The first key and the best key to get through. So
Ah, oh,
yeah.
sorry.
Oh,
Oh,
did you almost? Oh, did
I,
we? Oh,
I was playing extra sounds.
oh. Okay. Okay. You had me worried there. I thought maybe my best piece of information was not actually live.
Well, no, it was. I like, see, it's funny because I have accidentally set goals and then not looked at them for the year and printed off a job thing that I wanted, or the skills. I
Yeah.
wanted the skill set, and I ended up
Yeah.
filing it. And the very next year, by accident, I pulled it out, and I had achieved my goal,
Yeah.
but
That can
without
happen.
without looking,
That
which
can happen. That can happen. I suppose there are those kinds of people in the world, but and maybe I'm not one of them. Maybe I've got that thing called ADHD. So things that are out of sight, out of mind never happen. And I tend to get sidetracked. So for me, yeah, so you're right. There's probably is something to that for neurotypical people. Maybe that's something that actually does happen. But I often hear
I think you might have
people,
just insinuated that I was neurotypical, and
no,
I would be thrilled.
no, I wasn't insinuating, but you can take you if it feels right, go with it. That's how I say. That's what I say. So when it comes to goals, you want to do those big hairy audacious goals. Absolutely, I think those are really important because sometimes we set limiting beliefs, and I'm really not into woo woo stuff. So I do set big goals, and I do set goals that freak me out. But the fun thing about them is that if you get, hey Jessica, if
Yes.
you even if you only get halfway to a huge goal, generally that's way better than getting all the way to a small goal, right? So that's, Jessica's,
Oh,
Jessica
she's
is
so
the
woo
widow.
woo.
Yes, I forgot. We should have had her on. Yes, I totally. It's a bit of a, I'm just not going to admit to it on live here. But the truth is that yeah, you need to make big goals. You need to make sure that you're making goals that are exciting for you, because anything that's not exciting for you is not going to happen generally. And sometimes I feel like if I make the same goal over and over again, and then finally, and it's just not happening for me, eventually I will start to um, do some work to really find out if I'm in alignment with my goals, or if my goals are in alignment with me. Whichever way you want to look at it, it doesn't really matter. Because sometimes sometimes it can be poor goal management, poor techniques to get there, and sometimes it's just that you're not invested, your heart's not in it. You can't. You end up self sabotaging all the time, sometimes that's just indicators that there's something not speaking to you about those goals. Maybe you're adopting those goals because, well, everybody wants to make, 7 figures, or maybe you're adopting those goals because your coach has told you to. It's a good idea. Maybe you're adopting those goals because you're watching way too many people in a certain industry on TikTok or something like that. You have to really actually sit with your goals and make sure that they're right for you. That's number one.
That's
Would
interesting.
you agree?
Yeah, so okay, so really interesting stuff is we're both so into goals, and we're actually going to be doing quarterly planning together next year. We're pulling in Phelan, you and me, and whoever else wants to join.
Yeah.
But let's say somebody said, "Hello, ladies, hello," and Jessica, yeah, you are the woo woo, but you know what? You bring it, and everybody I think has a bit of that in them, no matter what. Who know, like, I'm not one to admit I'm tough as nails. I don't believe in anything, kind of thing. But anyway, besides that, so Rena, do I agree with you? Yes, I've had the same number one goal for a number of years. So I have not got there. I'm getting closer every year.
Mhm.
It's a big goal, and I add to it or take away from it every year. But what I guess
Yeah.
I want to say is that I was in this mastermind for the last 2 years, and one of the things they did, which is pretty intensive, is that you set goals quarterly, and you can only
Yeah.
focus on three things, and
Yeah.
you treat the quarter like a year.
Right.
And
Oh,
so,
interesting.
yeah, I felt it makes you, because when you set goals, you can oftentimes, like, life gets carried away with us, right? And what is that thing they say? You get less done than you plan to in a day. You get more done than you plan to in a month or in a year, right? So I don't
Right.
know how that works, but so if you plan
Yeah, I'm not sure
quarterly,
either.
I think
Yeah,
it puts it on a fast track, right?
I
Um,
think so. I think, yeah,
the
it
other,
really depends, because here's the other trick. So, you know, if you're making your goals and then you're making your steps on how to get to those goals. So, for example, if we're talking about sales goals, which I think that a lot of us business owners are interested in developing sales goals every year, how are we going to make those happen? What are they actually going to be? Which products? Which, first of all, I take it. This is how I work because I'm lazy. Which products have the biggest profit margin? Which products are the easiest to sell? And then I put most of my eggs in those baskets and I make my plans with that. And then I also have some peripheral types of products that, like, if I'm building a website, then hosting comes with that. If if I'm setting up Google Workspace, then it's on my partner program. It just, like, so those kinds of things help, but I don't focus on selling the hosting and I don't focus on selling the Google the Google setup stuff in particular. Um, so biggest profit, easiest things to sell. And then you have to lay it all out. You have to actually do the math and figure it out. Some people just say, I want to make $1 million by the end of next year. And it's like, well, that's all great, but how's that actually going to happen? What does that mean to your day-to-day life? So if you need to sell, like, if you're currently selling 4 websites a month and you want to sell um, you know 8 websites a month, that's double. So how are you gonna double your sales? Like, where are you gonna go network?
right. Well, there is a difference between
Yeah.
dreaming and a goal, right? A
Yes,
goal is
exactly.
a technical plan.
So if it doesn't get in your schedule, it doesn't happen. So you need to actually schedule the tasks that are required in order to make your goals. So the first thing is to write out your goal in this nice little list with all of your sales plans, and then, figure out what your income streams, where they're coming from, and who are your best referral partners, and then what are you going to do to nurture those, and how often are you going to try nurturing those? Are you going to put those in your, like, there are some referral partners that I have that I make sure I meet up with them for a coffee or a drink or a call or a something on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. I'm not naming names at all, Pip, but you know,
I will tell you.
we
So the phrasing referral partner, hold on. Hi, Karen. The phrasing for referral partner, first, that phrasing bugs me, and I know that it shouldn't,
well,
but
you can call it a strategic alliance if you like, or
yeah.
you can
Well,
call it, what
that
else have I
sounds cool.
heard? There's so many other words.
I like strategic alliance because it's more mythical. I don't
Okay.
know. It seems
It's
like,
not
going
specific.
back
It's
to
not as
like,
specific. Yeah.
yeah. I just, I work with people I like, and
Yeah,
people that do a good job.
absolutely.
And so I think that that does actually come into play when you're goal setting, because I think we should mention goal setting alone is hard.
Yeah.
And because it's hard to know what you can achieve, and it's so hard to look from a distance, right? You can see at a distance what you want, but
Yeah.
then to step it back, I think that's the
Yeah.
challenge. I think that's where a lot of people get lost. And
Yeah.
the one thing,
Because
yeah, oh, you going?
no, no, sorry, I interrupted you. You carry on.
We're both excited.
I know it's true.
Goal setting. So, I wanted to ask you. Okay, so in our lives recently, we've done a look back, a look forward, failing in
Yeah.
yourself. What did you guys talk about last week? It was something related to end of year, wasn't it?
Reporting. So half of what
Ooh.
Half of what Phelan and I talked about is completely applicable here, because what I use to look back is also what I look to create my forward plan. So I have that document that I shared in the last live, and I'll share it again down below in the comments.
Nice.
And if you're watching from somewhere else, you're going to have to visit the Cyberpunk Geek Marketing Mixer Facebook group to find it. Look for this live, and you'll find my thing in the comments, my spreadsheet. So basically, it's got to be your. I always work it together. So this is how my goals go, and I don't do a. I don't I don't always achieve my goals. In fact, I'm not even sure I have achieved my ultimate goals, but I've definitely always moved in the right direction. So this is why I do it. So tracking your net worth on a monthly basis, super important, because you know you're on track. And if you're like, because I'm a sole proprietor, my net worth and my business is exactly the same thing. So that's why I use those words. You can, track your business um, profit if you want, or net worth of your business, or whatever they call it. I'm not an accountant, and not very good with those reports, but I'm good at looking at them. I just don't know what they're called. So you can look at that, and you can track it in a spreadsheet every month just to see how your improvements are on your sales. You keep your goals in the same spreadsheet. That's where my sales forecast spreadsheet is. That's one of the sheets in that spreadsheet. And so the sales forecasts, and then I adjust them. So I actually have numbers and I write them down. So if I've decided, I'm actually looking at my goals up on the board here from 2021, I
Oh,
write
I
them on the
like
window
that.
too. Yeah, because out of sight, out of mind, ADHD. So if they're up on my window, I see them. So I can see that I had 12 custom sites, I had 10 template sites, I had 20 hosting clients, and then I actually fill them in as I make the sales. So I know where I am.
Oh, that's pretty
Right?
good. Okay.
Yeah. So that is number one. And then on my I also do it in the spreadsheet, and then the spreadsheet tallies it up. So I know if I'm on target or not on target. I don't get to the end of the month and go, holy crap, I haven't made enough sales this month. I always know I'm checking that, because if you heard um, the last live, I check that document on Wednesdays, and I balance my budgets on Fridays. So I'm looking at it twice a week. So it's impossible for me not to know where I am in all
That's
of this.
interesting, because so where I am a little different, and like, we were moving as fast as our feet could take us this year, right? It's
Yeah.
been a challenging year for everybody, and I think I will take some of the things you say and probably try to implement them, because um I think it's important to write them down and have them in front of you. Maybe it is out of sight, out of mind. I think the most fun part of goal planning is the dream, right? Where do you want to
Yes.
get to and why? Like, it's
Yes.
so
That is true.
I do this strange little thing, which is I change my password, one of my passwords, to my goal.
Oh, that's
And
great.
so I have to type it every time I do something, like
Oh,
log
that's
in somewhere.
great. I love that.
Oh
I
yeah, yeah.
love that.
Super fun, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm always reminded, because I we all want to win. That's why we're creating goals. I'm
Yeah.
getting feedback. And
So
anyway, go on.
So the other thing that I use, another tool that I use, other than the spreadsheet, to actually come up with my goals, is that what was that book that I shared with you last week, Pip, when we were talking about all this in our mastermind? It's by Darren. What's it
Yeah.
called? Best year ever.
Oh yeah, something like that. Which is what I'm
Yeah.
planning to have next year. Because this year
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a crazy year. Like it's been a crazy 2 years, and so goals kind of, I think a lot of them got thrown out the window. But even if you
Oh
don't
gosh.
reach that huge, big, audacious goal, even just having little goals and actually
Yeah.
doing the quarter reflection, I think that's where um, the most change happens. So I
Yeah.
I next year I'm probably going to be a little bit more like you and a little bit more strategic about what I'm selling.
Mhm.
In because we do, most of our clients follow a journey, right? Depending on what they buy with us, because there is a journey when it comes to SEO and what you need to do, right?
That,
Now, that being said, creating goals and reflecting on them, I think it's a challenge. Do you all not agree?
yeah.
Oh, guess who's here?
Who's here? It doesn't tell me on the
Bari.
chat. Oh, yay!
Hi, buddy.
Um, yeah. So this book, though, and I will put the link for the book. I mean, you don't even really need the book, but basically, what it does is it gets you to rate all aspects of your life: your physical, your financial, your spiritual, and I forgot what the other one is, but I think there are four quadrants. And basically, you need to have goals in all areas of your life so that you can have a fuller, richer, more meaningful life and not feel like you're, dying on the
Hedonic,
inside and just working
what is it,
all
the
the time.
hedonic treadmill?
Right? Yes, exactly. You want to be on a real treadmill, not like the proverbial one. So the point is that what it does is it actually helps you roll back your steps, and it works on a quarterly in a quarterly way, and then on a weekly way, and gets you scheduling things in. So this is how I got to this point of actually making time for all this stuff. um, and basically based on this idea that if you're scheduling stuff in, then you're creating the habits that you need in order for these goals to come to fruition, right? So it's like, okay, well, I mean, I think the weight goals are the easiest, and if you just implement the same idea to your financial goals, then it becomes almost the same thing. So if you want to lose 20 pounds, then you got to figure out, you need to eat better and you need to exercise, are the two most, understood things,
Mhm.
if you want to.
Goals
But
are
what
a
we're going to
combination of habit changes, right?
Yes, so that's the thing. So basically, you have to decide, what are you going to do on a daily basis to make that happen, and then you have to implement. And then the second part of that is that you can't get so riled up that you just, with defeat, that you just walk away from it. So my favorite habit to do is every day, it's a new day. You get to scrap like but what happened yesterday and any time before that, you just scrap that as old news. That is done and no regrets. And then every day is a new day. So if you have the every day is a new day attitude, it doesn't matter if you just ate a giant donut, and who doesn't want to eat a giant donut? I want to eat a giant donut. So the thing is that if you actually get off your goals and you got totally sidetracked, well, we're not machines. We're not machines. So
Well, this is
we
why doing it quarterly is
yes,
is actually, I think, very strategic and very smart,
yes.
because
Yes.
you know what, when you fail at something or you don't get to where you want to get to, you oftentimes, how many of us, come on now, have that, ugh, I give up until next year, right? I'm
That's
done.
exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. But I like all of the new starts. So, new start at New Year's, new start. September 1st is always a great new start for me. I also have this weirdo, and as an atheist, it's a really weirdo new start for Lent. I always have a new start on Lent. It's the weirdest thing, but it's in February, and it's a great time, usually in February.
Atheist
Uh,
and Lent don't technically
yes,
work
they
together. 'Cause
do.
you
We
can't,
can have another live
we
about
will
that
no,
sometime.
no, we'll have that behind the scenes. um
Exactly. Happy hour. Join me in happy hour and I will explain my whole Lent thing. But it's definitely an atheist perspective on Lent. Anyway, so there are all these sort of times in the year that you can choose to have a new start, and the more new starts you have, the more closely related you will come out to your goals in the end of the year. I feel every quarter is a new start, every week is a new start, every month is a new start. I just love new starts.
It is funny because I have in my calendar, and it's saved for every day of the year, and it says a happy life is forgetting about yesterday and
Yes,
forgiving the past.
yes,
Right? So those two things.
absolutely.
And we have to do that. So that might be in relation to other people, but I think that's also in relation to how we think and react to our goals, because if we set big goals, there's a huge chance we're not going to hit them. But it's the striving, isn't it? The journey
Yes,
is what
that's
it's
exactly
really
right.
all about, right?
Yes,
So here's the thing, because we have 10 minutes left and we're not going to leave any. So this is our second last live of the year. And next week we're going to do the group thing. And so join us then. But let's actually talk about doing our goals. Like, let's, Rena, let's you and I
yes,
talk. Okay, so we're gonna meet and we're gonna do some goal setting, right? So
yeah.
what are the questions now? We go, so there's, Rena's got this cool sheet she shared with me, and I do use it. And what it is, and this is for business, this is not necessarily personal goals here, these are business goals, and it takes you through lists of things, and
Mm.
you
You're
check off.
talking about the tracker.
Yes, I love this thing. So
Yes.
you
Okay.
it's got like different sheets on a sheet, right? So you got like sheet 1, 2, 3 up to 40. And you read the first 10, and if you're not if you haven't achieved those, then those are what you work on until you get to 10, and then that's what you work on for the next quarter. It is a very big challenge because it's very business related. So I like that, and I know we're going to do that. So, but I also like doing this thing of like looking at what your assets are, what your who you're aligned with, and how you can help each other and use what you already have, right? And build
Leverage.
that.
I hate the word leverage, but really that's what it is. It's actually understanding the low hanging fruit. And so if you've built relationship with someone and you're already forming these loose connections with people, then how can you tighten them and make them work for both of you so that you can increase um, your income streams? That's key. Um, and focusing on people who will not who have the same target market with you, that can provide multiple referrals to you. That's also a really great, like, that's a marketing stream. So people think of Facebook and they think of Google ads as the only way to market, but actually um, word of mouth marketing can be really
WOM, yes, WOM.
really amazing. What
Yeah,
did you say, WOM?
WOM. It's WOM. So when I worked.
Oh, I've never even heard that acronym
Oh,
before.
interesting. So when I worked at a company called Reach Local, or
Oh
Local
yeah.
Sphere, sorry, Local Sphere, and there, yes, that's where I heard it for the first time. One word of mouth, right? Because
Yeah.
so we know that we all have friends, and if they recommend something, you're gonna
Yeah.
buy it. Like you just do because you trust them so much, right? So
Yeah.
that's the best word of mouth you can get. I'm actually listening to a book right now called and it's old. It's 2013, uh, and it's called Contagious, and
Oh, I haven't read
it's
that.
very good. And it's
Okay.
so inspiring, but it talks a lot about word of mouth and
Right.
how you get things out there and how what people pay attention to. It's done by a guy who has his PhD in psych. So
Oh,
I'm in
really?
love with that book. You
Yeah,
would
no
like it.
kidding. That's your thing. I'm gonna try that for sure, because and then figure it out. Go through your invoices and figure out where people come from. If you don't know
Mm.
that, you should be asking that. That should be the first thing you find out. At the
I
top
track
of
that.
my Yeah, me too. I was just gonna say, at the top of my, like, I have these little cards. Every client has a card. That's where I do my customer relationship notes, all of that stuff, all the project notes. At the top of that card goes who referred that person to me. And as soon as I notice two people coming from the same person, I'm contacting that person, and I am making sure that that relationship is good and strong. And weirdly enough, I had this year, I have this other um, marketing company referring a particular product of mine now to 3 people, which I found
Ooh,
really strange. I've never met them before.
okay,
Uh,
really
and they heard of me through one of my clients. So you know that that marketing firm
Are
is
you going
getting
to go back and thank
yeah,
them or introduce
yeah.
yourself?
Oh yeah, I've got a great referral program. So the client that let the agency know about me will get a nice little reward, and then the agency that has referred, absolutely, I will be dropping by some flowers or something nice to
Well, that's
them
nice.
over the holidays. I think that's super important. I want to know who these people are, and isn't that exciting that
You know what
somebody
I
new
do?
who doesn't know me?
I
Sorry.
so I do referral path. So like, and you
Oh,
can do this in a Google sheet. You just use the little arrow that goes like that, right? So it's like, where did the person come from, like, and what was the line, like, so not only in the referral path you actually know like how your sales go. So do you take 2 calls to close a sale? Do you take
oh,
right? And where did they come from? Did they come from Facebook or Google, or like the how did you hear about me, right? Um,
yeah.
so we talk a lot about goals in relation to sales because well, we run a business. But from what I just heard from you, Rena, marketing and marketers are a huge source for other marketers just to even collaborate,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. So, you know what really burns my butt is when people don't want to talk to people who are doing the same kind of business as themselves. I'm like, that is the most short sighted thing I've ever heard. And it really annoys me because I'm in a referral networking group, as you are, Pip, or was, I'm not sure, R was. Anyways, the point is that there's kind of like this, and they only let one person per industry in, and then they don't want they don't they get annoyed when you invite visitors in the same industry. Sometimes, not all the members, but some of the members do. And honestly, the people that are in my industry are my best referrals. They refers. They send me people all the time. So we can't possibly, it's like thinking that, Pip, you're a marketer, I'm a marketer, but we have very different focuses, and we have different target audiences, and we do very different things, even though they're quite similar in a lot of ways.
Totally
So
different and totally different
I
client base,
so
which
yes, so I'm not competing with you at all, which is
yeah,
why we share our resources so well.
yeah,
And
that's
right?
huge. So I think
Yeah.
that in goal setting, there's a couple things. We want to find people that we can work with so we can share resources to get to our goal, whatever your goal is. But we are, I feel like I want to be on my lonely island sometimes, but we are better together. And
It's
right. So the other thing I'd like to bring up is this quarterly plan for a yearly goal. What do you think about that?
a quarterly plan for a year. So are we breaking down our yearly goal
N-
into quarterly plans?
No, you're taking your year goal and putting it into a quarter.
That seems very frightening to me. That's a big goal in a
But
quarter. Excuse me.
yeah, it is, right? So, but that helps you drill into your focus, don't you think? Like what your focus is going to be? Like,
Um, I don't know. I'd have to see what it looks like on paper before I come up with a decision. But I do like big goals. It's true. I have large goals every single year, and never hit them, but always get much further than I actually think I'm going to get. Because you have the oh, let's try for this, and then you have this, oh, but I know I can hit this.
yeah,
You know, and then I always get way further than that. I know I can hit this if I have the let's try for this. Whereas if I just go for this, then I just get here. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. I know that most of us, probably talk to ourselves badly in our head a lot of the time. And I know, like, I was an underdog. Like, you know what? Like, I struggled. I had a learning disability. All the things and the stuff, that goes against you slightly in life actually can be such an asset as you get older. And I don't
There's
know,
a good question here, Pip.
picking goals, okay, picking goals and trying, and even if you don't think you can, is is so important. I'm going to put this in. Okay, you read this.
Okay, so how do you carry your quarterly goal through the entire year? See, this is my question. I need to see how this works before I can comment on it. So you've supposedly had success in the quarter. So what is next concerning that goal? Exactly. I'm sorry, I can't see who the Facebook user is, but
Oh,
thank
it's
you.
Karen. It's Karen.
Oh, yay. Okay, yay, Karen. Good question.
So that is a very good question. So you're saving when you get to when you get to your goal and you hit your goal, what comes next? Is that the question?
Well,
Because
if
what
it's a
comes
yearly
next? The
goal that you're
next goal.
the next goal. Yeah, okay. That's
Right.
okay.
So here's the thing is, when you set up a goal, the hardest part is pulling it apart so you can get there and strive there. And if we look at what Rina does by looking at her stuff every week, there are some people who wake up in the morning and they journal every morning and they write their 10 goals for the year, right? Well, if you have 10 goals for the year, you're kind of split apart, right? So I'm not saying that you could have a huge goal, right? And that could take you 10 years. What I am saying is, if you take that huge goal and you think, okay, what are the things I can achieve in a quarter to get me there? Like, so that you're focused on 3 things to get you to a goal, right? And like, I mean, okay, so let's take an example. My goal next year is I want to write a book, right? Just to do it for me. It's for me, not for anybody else, for me. Now, how am I going to get to that goal? I could say that goals for the next year, but I'm going to say, okay, in this quarter, if I was going to achieve writing a book, what would I need to do every day? Right?
Oh, so you're not actually writing the whole book in the first quarter because that's your goal. You're actually
You could try.
taking down. You could try, but okay. So I think I would do exactly that. I actually create the steps and then organize those steps for the quarter and make sure that I try and hit those as close to those goals as possible. Yeah, yeah, increased focus.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's kind of what
Yeah.
it does. It kind of narrows because we all, hold on. Like, so here's the thing. Some people set one big goal, some people set 10. I've set too many before. And yet, I might have an income goal and I might have a spiritual goal and I might have a weight goal, and they all feed. And don't get me wrong, like, once we hit our goal, we just pick another goal. We're moving forward. But if we try to do things in a quarterly span versus the year, we can get a lot more done, and then, like, we don't just give up, right?
So I think in some way it's more important to focus on the plan than it is to focus on the goal,
Ooh.
because the goal is just an arbitrary thing that starts you off creating your plan.
Now we're out of time, and if you actually want to create your goal or have some input on what we're talking about next year, Rina does this thing on Friday in our group. If you don't know our group, we're Cyberpunk Geeks Marketing Mixer. It's for marketers and people who love marketing. And on Fridays at 4 p.m. Pacific,
Yeah, 4 p.m. Pacific.
there is a POW. No, what do we call it?
Happy hour. We call it a happy
It's
hour.
a happy hour. But in this happy hour this week, we're going to be
Yeah.
talking about the geek lives that we're going to do every week. And we're also going to be talking about goal planning and setting ourselves up for the next year. So you should join us.
Yes,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
It was lovely to talk to you.
Whoop,
Bye. Have a great
And
day.
next week is the monthly roundup. So if you're interested in what's happening in marketing over the last month, all of the news, tune in at 11 o'clock next week.
So good. Okay. See you soon.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.